What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Action Not Included. On our last episode, we were dealing with the power and whatnot. Afterwards, in between episodes, I let the game run for about 30 in-game days. I think it's closer to 40. And that's just because I was absolutely sick and tired of having to come down here and constantly, adjust and make, adjustments and kind of keep having to fiddle around with the power. I was getting tired of it. I wanted to finally, hopefully be done, move past it, and finally be able to do different projects. Because I was just sick and tired of having to deal with the water and the power and the petroleum boiler breaking and the this and the that. And it just was like, oh my God, let's just finally be done with it so we can, make something else different, like a seal farm or a tree farm or a solar panel generation or rockets or, anything besides constantly coming back and having to deal with power because we were, running out of it. So with that said, we clearly have our power situation significantly more sorted out now. As you can see, we have 5 tanks filled with hydrogen. We are actually producing or gathering so much hydrogen that all of our lines are backed up. Well, we're actually going to have excess hydrogen in our hydrogen tanks. We also have a backup of petroleum fuel, which is good. I mean, that's exactly what we want. We want to be producing so much petroleum that our lines are basically backed up. They're not quite backed up to the petroleum boiler, but that we don't want that. We would rather have that run as consistently as possible. So, but for the most part, all of our tanks are filled, so we have plenty of petroleum. We are getting 2.5 or so tanks of natural gas. I mean, things are looking up. We have our power situation so well sorted that we are actually starting to gain an increase in resources to produce power. So that made me pretty happy to see that. We do have this small little farm I decided to add in between episodes, just because I was trying to figure out a way to bring in more food into the colony, and it's more or less more like a different variety of food than actually us needing food. We just we have got a ton of frost buns. We also have this story down here where we're going to get our what I would call our last duplicate, because we're going to be losing one, sending them off into the rift, the temporal tear. So the duplicate in here will be replacing our rocket dupe that we send off to the Forever Lands. And this dude wants multiple, like 3 different kinds of high quality food. So I figured we can start making tofu. Where is it? Right here. We can make tofu from the nosh beans and other things. Because what else? We got, we make nosh noms, which is nosh beans deep fried in tallow. And then we can make tofu and then make, what is it? Is it spicy? Yeah, then we can make spicy tofu. So that's kind of the goal. What's curry beans and tonic root? We don't have tonic root. Some of the stuff I don't think we're going to be able to make until we get into space and we're able to bring back certain seeds, like I think pepper seeds and a few other things. Mushroom seeds, I definitely believe we need. I do believe. Okay, yeah, no, this needs to be made with cooked seafood and can't be done with shellfish. So we have to have paku to make surf and turf, which is kind of a downer. But that's okay, because if we start farming the Pokeshells, we can actually turn them into the freshwatered version, which will give us this shellfish, raw shellfish. So that's that's things that we can work on. I'm not actually really sure what I want to do this episode. I'm kind of tempted to maybe make a poke shell farm, because we got these 2 little poke shells here, and we have a nice warm area that they seem to kind of be reasonable enjoying, and we also need a spot for growing lettuce so we can make burgers. I'm thinking about over here behind the hatches, or right near the hatches, is maybe like a spot for some meal ice and some bristleberry, so we can get the juicer up and running. But we need to grow. We got a bunch of stuff we need to farming and stuff we need to do realistically. Or do we want? Oh, because we could. Yeah, we actually got this all nice and up and running, which is awesome. So, they can finally come in, use their jet suits, go up, do whatever they need to in space, and then come back. We do need to make the liquid lock in there, or they will stop being able to breathe when they transfer suits. So we're going to put that there. What else? I'm just kind of trying to debate where to put our eventual seal farm, and I'm thinking kind of over here near this end. I'm thinking that's gonna be it. I mean, we could go with wild bonbon trees. Do we want to go with wild bonbon trees? And kind of do almost everything hands off for the most part. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm also, I'm not sure which direction to go. I'm going to think about it for a moment, and then I will be back. Okay, so I have contemplated, and I think we're going to do a combination of some more ranching and farming and prepping for space exploration. So what we're going to do, because we actually need pips. We're going to need pips to further some of our other farms, because I want to wild plant the bonbon trees. I've decided ultimately to wild plant bonbon trees. We're going to do like 4 bonbon tree farms ultimately. So basically like 4 spigot seal ranches. And we're going to need the little squirrel thingies. I just said what the hell they were. The pips. We're going to need pips to wild plant the plants. And we are down to like, I think 4. What was it, 4? Is that what I counted? Yeah, we got these 2 here. And then I think 2 more. Yeah, we're down to like 4 pips left in our world. I think the rest of them have just been slowly dying by getting themselves trapped in places that they probably shouldn't be getting into. And so I would prefer to save the pips. So we're going to start with a pip farm. And then we are going to set up a base station. So we need to get this laid out. So we're going to go 2, skip, and then go 2. And the reason why we're doing that is we're going to leave these natural tiles here for the trees. So the plan is to just have the pips plant the arbor trees and just have the arbor trees just wildly grow. I don't really feel like we need to domesticate and but yeah, no, I do not feel that we need to domesticately grow the arbor trees. It just eventually will just become too much wood. I mean, we're kind of holding ish at like roughly 32 tons of wood, so I don't feel like we need to push too hard into making sure we had even more wood production. I feel like that's just a bit overkill, and I mean, just it's not needed. So here is the pip farm, and thankfully for us, we have the natural tile mod, which makes it easy for us to put natural tiles down to do this instead of having to do the weird like put a door and then this and that. Like there's a weird kind of glitchy, or it's not glitchy, but there's a way to manipulate the game mechanics to make the game generate natural tiles if you get enough of a resource in one block. And to be honest, I just don't like having to take like the 20 minutes to make that work. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. So I just use the natural tile mod instead. But yeah, no, we're going to set this up. And this is 96. Actually, we don't want that there. We're going to relocate these ladders. We need to delete the rest of them. We will eventually get to space, guys, I promise. I'm not putting it off at all. I mean, why would I do that? I mean, that would just be silly. And we will actually be actively branching the pips. So we want, where is it? We want the it's in stations, isn't it? Yeah, because I'm an idiot. We'll do critter drop off. So this is the door, right? Let's double check. It is 96 to here, so this is the door here. We want the grooming station. Nope. Oh, come on. We want the grooming. Oh, we do have different grooming stations. What's this one? We're going to go with the rustic one because we're going to be dealing with the pips in the forest area. So, you know, it being made out of wood seems kind of nice. And then we need a critter drop off. We'll put that there. And then that should be it, really. Okay, and they destroy that. Bam, bam. All right, and that'll be our pip ranch. Yeah, and then we can set up down below, directly below it, the little incubation station for it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we should be good with just one. I think more than one incubation area would be silly. there we go. Let me get that. I can pour down. We're going. Alright, and that should. Oh. Overload damage where? Oh, overheated. Oh. Because it's all starting to get a little warm. Alright, so we need to make that out of steel. I thought that was made out of steel. Huh. Okay. Is this one made out of steel? That one's made out of steel. Is this one made out of steel? That one's... Alright, so all of them were made out of steel, but that one. That's fine. Our steel's starting to climb up, back up finally. That's another reason why I've been avoiding space. And it's not because I don't want to build space. It's because we realistically don't have the steel for space right now. So I've been putting it off because I've been wanting to just kind of gather a stockpile of resources to properly build things in space. Because space basically needs nothing but steel for days. And I feel like it's kind of more of a industrial process check to see if you've actually gotten your production up to where it needs to be. So, but alright, I'm going to finish laying out, ripping up the oil biome, because we need resources to make steel, which is mostly lime. So we got the Pip Ranch over here. I'm going to then... Do you want to do it here or here? We can do it right up here. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna set up at least, I'm gonna go with 4. We're gonna do 4 Pokeshell ranches. We're gonna do 2 regular Pokeshells and then 2 Sandy shells. Is that what they're called? Because here's the Pokeshells that you poop. You pollute dirt and rot piles. And the Sandy shell, they also eat the same thing, right? Yeah, and then they make sand, slime, and the reason, yeah, because we want raw shellfish so we can make some shellfish food. I don't think we're going to be making any oak shells because we have a creature that already makes wood by us farming it. And it doesn't just make wood. Because that's kind of all the oak shell does, is just make wood. And we're getting both wood and meat from our little floxes over here. So I feel like the floxes are just a better version of the oak shell. Really. So I'm going to lay these out. And then over here on the other side, I'm going to lay out 1. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with 1 lettuce waterweed. 1 waterweed farm. So 1 waterweed farm, 4 Pokeshell farms. Yeah, I think that'll be good. All right, so I'll be back after I get that stuff laid out. And then, so I can, show it and explain it and everything. I'll be back in a moment. Alright, so we have our monstrosity of a Pokeshell farm laid out. It is very busy with all the commands right now, but I just kind of want to go over the basic idea of it. So if you want to build it or potentially use something like this on your own, in your own playthroughs, you can do so. What we have is our basic layout, which can be made either with a left or right facing direction, which is why I have them set this way, because this will work either way. And for the most part, this is a 96 cell chamber. The reason why we need these extra 3 here is both to bring in power and because we have a block here for our light and extra tiles here for our grooming station. Our grooming station is on top of mesh tiles because this whole bottom part is going to be filled with 1 tile high water. I believe it should be 1 tile high because we want the Pokeshells to be able to jump up and reach the grooming station. So that's why we're at 96 tiles and why it's shaped the way it's shaped. As you can see, we have our power coming in. It will feed our filter sorter for our shipping, or our shipping rails, and it'll also power everything else. Oh, I forgot to plug in our little boxes. That's okay. Let's do that now before I forget. Okay, back to explaining this monstrosity. Alright, now we have sweepers to sweep up all the eggs. Sweep up all the eggs and stuff. They will put them into the loader. Loader will bring it up. It'll get filtered. We will set the filter to whatever egg we're using. So if you're using standing shells, poke shells, oak shells, regardless, you just set it to whatever that is. It comes up, comes across, comes into this filter, and I'll explain the rest of that in a moment. If it's not the selected shell, it'll come out and it'll also go into the filtration system. We have 2 critter sensors, 1 critter sensor here and 1 critter sensor here. This critter sensor inside the main box detects how many poke shells we have. The critter sensor in the holding cell, is the best way for me to call it, will detect if we have an egg. And that's its only job, is to detect if we have at least 1 egg. If there's at least 1 egg, it will turn off this conveyor chute, and then the shells will, then your eggs will continue on to get processed into omelets or, whatever you choose to do with it. I will end up turning them into omelets. That's the main goal for all extra eggs, is they will be turned into omelets. Because you can't drown the poke shells because they kind of live in water, so it's a little hard to evolve them into food or whatever else you want to. So I tend to just turn their eggs into omelets. So the eggs come up, hit this filter. Everything else inside of the base or inside of the ranch also gets sucked up and goes to this filter. What this filter is to be set to, because there's 2 of them on the outside, is the sand. The sand will be sent off to a undisclosed location that we'll talk about in a moment. And that is ultimately it. And then, clearly the not sand will keep going, come up, and it will come out. Which it's going to eventually be heading to the base to be turned into omelets or whatever else there is in the base that needs to be dealt with. So if it's like the Pokeshell shells, they'll be dropped off in our here inside of our industrial brick to be turned into lime, and then from there they'll be sent up into the base. So if it's like the seafood or eggs, they'll be sent up here to be turned into, the appropriate foods and be used up. That is the plan. Hopefully I have it laid out properly and the whole thing doesn't explode. But back to, I don't think I finished explaining the automation, but I wanted to get that part out of the way. And yeah, that's pretty much all of that. Back to automation. And then this critter sensor inside will detect if there's enough critters. If there's not enough critters, it will open this door, which then will let the extra Pokeshell or Pokeshells up here fall down and be added into the group. And that is basically, for the most part, how it will work. I'm used to things breaking, so I just have this extra pneumatic door here set up so that if something falls apart or it's broken or we got to make an adjustment or something, it's easy to get in there and we don't have to, tear half the thing apart. We already have easy access to make any adjustments. These extra holes here will actually just get filled up with block. They're just open right now for the dupes to be able to get in there and build it. This little section right here will actually be where their food is going to be coming in, and then it'll get sorted and sent down. I don't have that finished being piped in, but that is the whole point of that, is that it'll drop down into the ground there, and then it will then get sucked up into this conveyor loader, and this conveyor loader will essentially load up all of these with polluted dirt. That is how we're going to feed them. Give me a second. I just wanted to get this laid out, because if I forget, it's gonna be painful to try and get this fixed. Get it fixed later. So it's better to remember to make this adjustment now than forget to do it and then be in a bind later on. That one's out. That one's in. Oh yeah. In, out. So that goes down there. That goes to there. That loops around. Haha, I knew there was one more I was missing. I guess I could have put it there. Oh well. And then bam. Okay, so that's laid out, and then this will basically take polluted dirt and distribute it among all 4 of the tanks. Now we're going to take a little trip. We're going to follow our conveyor rails, because this is technically still part of the ranch, because we got to automate feeding them. So our 2 conveyor rails, one is for polluted dirt in, one is for sand out. And we're going to run it all the way over to wherever we have a nice amount of polluted water. We're going to pump our polluted water into the sieve. The sieve will clean the water. It will give us polluted dirt. That will then in turn be packed onto our conveyor loader and, sent to go feed the Pokeshells. The Pokeshells in turn will be sending the sand back to filter the polluted water. Ultimately, caring for the Pokeshells is about hands free for the dupes as you can possibly get it. The only thing the dupes will have to do is go in there with some ranchers and groom the Pokeshells, and that's it. And that is ultimately our Pokeshell setup. Yes, I am actually going to shorten up our tank a little bit here. It just felt like it was too big for what we needed, and we wanted to keep enough fluid to keep the radiant pipe cool. So I decided to shorten it up. And then we're just going to dump our clean water back into our geothermal heat pump here. And it's just going to, add the amount of clean water being used to make steam power. The reason why we can't use the polluted water in the geothermal vent is because the geothermal vent spits out clean dirt, not polluted dirt. So that's that doesn't help us feed the Pokeshells when they want polluted dirt or rotten food. So that is the way that's going to work. Actually, we still need dirt. So we still need clean dirt. So instead of stopping the rot in our compost up here, we're going to keep these running just so that way we can keep getting dirt, because we need dirt to feed the sleet wheat farm. So we still have a use for dirt, but we don't have a use for that much dirt. We could probably, how much dirt do we have? Let's look at how much dirt we have. We have almost 1,000 tons of dirt. I think we have enough dirt for the rest of the game. I really do. I don't think we realistically need dirt for anything else. I think we're pretty set on dirt. I don't want to not make any more, but I just don't feel the need to mass produce it. But yeah, that's the Pokeshell farm and everything. I'm gonna make a little, we'll do a little montage of them basically getting built, and then we will be back. Okay. Well, it seems like for the most part we're done building it. We do need to set up a few things. We do need to get some more iron so that way we can. Oh, did we finally did this? Okay, we're distraction. Let's do that first. Let's review the data. Crittermatic. Oh, okay. Yes, it's just all the story stuff on all of them. We did Mammoth Floxes. We do still have some critters we don't have done. I don't know what this one is. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more critters. Okay. Did we jam a Mammoth in there? Why did it? Shouldn't this have turned into a regal Mammoth? And there's two types. Yeah, I mean, why did it not turn into? How do we get regal Mammoths? Do we feed? Do we feed the Mammoth? Okay, we have to feed it squash fries. What do we get from it? What is the Mammoth crust? Oh. That's a way to get golden milk. Okay. I mean, that is a reason to rush Mammoths or fries, yeah, and seals and. Okay, no, sorry, man. I just started thinking about a bunch of other stuff that kind of we could have done way earlier with the Mammoths. Okay, so we need to set this one to sand. And that one the sand. Haven't decided how to do this. Yeah, no, I'm trying to decide if we want the two different types on the same side or top and bottom. That's kind of what I'm trying to decide here. Oh, how is it now? Okay. Alright. We're getting that done. We do still need to bring in the bottle emptiers regardless. I think the critter drop-off gets flooded out too, doesn't it? Yeah. Son of a... and stick it back here in the corner. There. Let's see. What else do we need to have them build in here? I think we just need to have a mop. Too much liquid. Kick rocks. Yeah, polluted dirt. Big old sweep. And a mop on an 8. I mean, yeah, so we want to do the bottom as Pokeshells. No, we don't want story traits. Alright, Pokeshells. We're going to do poke row. We're going to put this one here. And then we do not have the sandy row option yet. Okay. Why does it give me sandy shell for food but not for sorting? Alright. Okay. And realistically, all would be acceptable. Wait. You know, I had a feeling that was going to happen. Alright. And for the moment, we're just going to have it all get dumped here at the top. No, it's not the best spot, but it's better than nowhere. Alright, and then we want Pokeshell. Oh, I think we want 8. It might be 6. It's probably 6. Knowing my luck, is probably 6. Where is... Here's our surviving Pokeshells. See, how much space do you want? 12? Yeah, that should be 8. Because I think that's the same as hatches, right? Because how many do you guys want? You guys want 12? Yeah, and there's 8 hatches. Okay, that's what I thought. So, 8, 8, 8, and 8. We actually want Pokeshells in all of them right at the moment. Yeah, I think that's good for the moment. Okay, so what else were they doing? Are they... Oh, they're down here building... Okay, I did not realize they were over here trying to make this Pip Ranch happen. And I'm getting sick and tired of them not doing anything because of the doors. They'll pre-rip out a bunch of other stuff, but they just won't do it for the doors. And that's that's really triggering. And you guys are obsessed with doing everything but the thing that I really want you guys to do, which is getting this done. And why is this not working? Alright, let's see. Got that there, that there. One conveyor rail. Another conveyor rail. And out. And out. Let's see that. That I think should fix the problem. Set those to a 7. Set all these cleaning commands to a 9. Because I don't know what they're off cleaning or whatever, but really need them to Get this all done in here. Why are you... I say cleaning, not critter feeding. And yeah, it definitely causes a problem. Actually, let's... Yeah. And then the one thing we don't want in here is polluted dirt. Or rot piles. Because then we'd be stuck in some weird infinite loop of them not having food. Okay, so we just need them to get all that cleaned up. Let's set some more iron free so they can finish getting this all built. You guys are probably over here trying to... You guys are sleeping right now. Alright, I will be less irritated with you for right now. Okay, and then we want to set this to pips. Where are they? We want pipsqueaks. I believe they also do 8. And it looks like our natural tiles got broken, so let's remake those. I believe these are being made out of dirt right now, right? Yes. And just put that in there. That should be good. Then we should be able to get in here. Get this pip. Why isn't the cuddle pip in there? Why? Eats thimbleweed? But there's no thimbleweed in here. Yeah, there's no thimbleweed anywhere. Okay. Yeah, we just gotta wait for them to get all swept out. Alright, so I'll be back after they get that all done. Alrighty then. So they pretty much have that mostly swept up and cleaned up. It's not perfect, but as you can see, the automation system is actually working. The sand's getting shunted off over to our water sieve, which will soon be making clean water to make dirt, polluted dirt to feed the Pokeshells. So things are coming along pretty good. I do believe we decided on making the bottom ones for Pokeshells, so we're gonna go with that. We're gonna set it to a 7. Enable auto bottling, and then this will be salt water. And then the ones up here on top will be clean water. And there we go. That should pretty much be everything. This should get done. Yeah, no, they should get that done. They've got all of this done. Want to set this to polluted dirt. Let's get sand. Alright, that's getting kicked into there. That's getting pumped into there. We set all that to a decent priority. I mean, it looks like they're finally getting stuff built. And then we want trees. No. Why not? What is it, AR? I think it's AR. Yeah. And there. That should... They shouldn't be able to plant it in regular tiles and only in natural tiles. So... And now we got them. Reset these. Oh, wait. Automation. But you want to deconstruct that. Then we're going to pump this out. Let's get fresh water. Okay, there we go. And now we can set that. Set both those 2 and 8. Um, hmm. Yeah, I think we could probably wrangle this thing up. And wrangle this pip up. We want to save the pips because we need them for more wild ranching later, so we might as well get some tamed up and always have some pips available. And then we're now getting water and stuff in here. All that stuff's getting swept up there. Power's getting made there. This is just constantly sieving dirty water into there. And we're still not getting any wood, which we will fix soon. Because, I mean, we got 100. I mean, where is... Yeah, see, there's wood there. So there's a ton of wood up here. Whoa, okay. There's a bunch of wood up top. Yeah, I mean, we got wood everywhere. Okay. Hopefully they get to it soon. Oh, that's what we could do. So we could set up a automatic dispenser right here. Set it to sweep only and wood and set it to like an 8. But yeah, no, we really need to get this irrigation going for the nosh beans, which means we just need wood to get this going. Our oxygens. How? Wait. How did that? How did water get in there? Like up here. Like, I can understand maybe a little bit of water getting here or down here, but how does it get here? Like, what? What? That doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't even understand how water's even in here in the first place. Like, there shouldn't be any... Yeah, I mean, it's a bit on the cooler side in here. Now that this doesn't have to try to, like, chill the entire outside area, but... Okay. No, not the water. Somebody come and mop the water out of there. Okay, you're coming up, Otto. Which then should permit that water to fall. Which then should now permit all of that hydrogen to start getting vacuumed up now. Which means that this should stop pushing down into our oxygen area. I really don't understand how water got here and here. Like I said, I can understand it being mixed in there, but yeah. I'm just going to deconstruct for that for right now. Ah, that's what we can do since we have it. Actually, could we? No. I don't. So I was thinking about was maybe sticking some natural ceramic tiles here instead of pumping the gas out and making a vacuum. But I decided not to. Felt like maybe that was maybe a bit much. Oh yeah, we need power right there. That's what we needed. I knew there was something else I was forgetting. Alright. Now you see, now I can understand getting the wrong element in there. That's different. I'll get this cleaned up and fixed up off camera. And we'll be back. I'll be back once we get that cleaned up and we start getting some Pokeshells and stuff in our ranches and stuff. So I'll see you guys in a moment. Alright, so as you can see, we have our Pokeshells ranches all up and running. We've got one Pokeshell in freshwater that is it's a bit unhappy because it's a little warm in the water it has, but it'll cool off. But as you can see, our chance to get a sandy shell is increasing because it's living in fresh water. And then down here we have another Pokeshell egg that we're waiting to hatch, that we're hoping to work. I did make a slight modification to the automation. I know there's something not quite right with this, and I'll probably get it fixed and properly up and running between now and the next episode. So, but I'll let you guys know what's going on and what I changed. So, if you want to build it yourself, you can. But for the most part, this is kind of what we have going on. It's an AND gate, so it has to be both low on Pokeshells and have I believe an egg or something. I'll have to check. I believe it's set for and no egg, which would signify that there's a Pokeshell in here, and then the door would open and drop the Pokeshell in. I'll have to do a little bit more playing around with the automation, but I'm pretty sure I can get this to work properly. We have all of the railing set and done, and we are pumping, or at least we were pumping a ton of clean water in there. Why are we not? But there should be. I was not expecting that. Do we? All right. Well, we'll put a box there for sand, so that way it always has sand. Just so that way the dupes are trying to steal it, we can make sure we got some. And then we have our little pip ranch down here. It's working nice and fine. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. What is that? 5? There seem to be 6. And is there? There is not one there. Okay, but we can deconstruct that. Yeah, and then we'll have a nice little wild arbor tree farm and some pips, and then we'll be able to do more wild planting and stuff. So far, this all seems to be working just fine. I don't know what was going on, but we kept getting a little bit of polluted water and salt water in here, which, it's not the end of the world, but it does kind of mess up our oxygen production and stuff when we're accidentally sending polluted water and salt water into the system. So I set up a water filter to filter out just water and send it on its way into our oxygen production and sleet wheat farm and other things we're using fresh water for. And then if it's not fresh water, it's getting filtered out, going past, and being shoved back into the geothermal heat pump. So we should hopefully have that problem fixed, because now we should just have clean fresh water pumping into here all the time. It should come up and around and basically start feeding all of our systems for our oxygen, for our sleet wheat. And then we also have it coming up here and feeding water into here, because we do need a consistent source of water to make ice to continue to keep our carbon dioxide cleaned up. Our water filtration system seems to be working pretty good so far. I do have a little section up here that's getting built to extend the cooling loop for the base. And the nosh beans are actually, our nosh bean farm is doing great actually. It seems to be doing pretty good on its own. What do the nosh beans need? Oh, and dirt. They need dirt. Okay. I know we have just a ridiculous amount of dirt. I'm not sure where it's all going though. Well, I know some of it's coming down here for fertilizer, and then some of it's being pushed off over here to the sleet wheat farm. Do we want it? We want it to prioritize the farms over the fertilizer. I'd rather have it grow faster, or grow. I'd rather have us actually have food grow than have food grow faster. And I'm getting distracted. So this will be the end of this episode. I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe.